There we go. Once again, hopefully live. Maybe I set it up correctly. Yeah. Didn't check that before. So here we are. Welcome back. Another stream here on the Ludwig Fussel channel. And again, I'm gonna need to verify that everything works. I don't have people that tell me that normally. I don't have like a... Actually, what I could do is actually check this over my phone. This is actually a way better idea to get an idea of everything works. That's a good idea. I'll check over my phone if the stream works. I don't know why I haven't had that idea before. Actually, I'm not even a subscriber of myself on my phone. Well, on my account that I use on my phone. Come on, where am I? There is my channel. And I'm live. That's already good if I see that I'm live. So, let's see what happens if I hit my live stream. I'm gonna quickly put off my headphones so that I can verify on my phone that everything works for the channel. Looking good. Looking good. What happens if I hit my live stream quickly? Yeah, that looked good. Everything works here on my phone. So it should work on your side as well. So, welcome back to a new stream here on the Ludwig Fussel channel. And actually now, nobody should now need to complain again because of not being able to zoom in the videos and the text too small, because now you can zoom on YouTube. I'm fine today. How are you? Thank you for asking. Can I actually open up this? Yeah, that's one thing that I want to do quickly. I want to quickly open up my stream stats. There we go. Now that's all set up correctly. And we are ready to rock. Alright, so welcome back to Game Engine Development here on the Ludwig Fussel channel, live streaming, always Fridays. And I've done some work since the last stream, but we're gonna talk about the diffs in a second. It wasn't that big of a deal what I've done, and we need to do more things on that as well. But I've done a few things that would be a bit annoying to do in the stream. So, what I fixed is, or not what I fixed, but what I've done is I've added the ability to resize the swap chain. So currently if I open up my application, you can see it runs fine. You can see that we have here like 200 FPS or 144 now. This is now fixed to the monitor. That's okay because I use G-Sync. It should kind of like stay at the monitor FPS, but yeah, I know what it's doing. It has a bit jittery around there, but it's kind of doing what it should do. I mean, it's forcing V-Sync to be off, but it's like using G-Sync. I know what it's doing, but it's doing stuff. Now, normally if you have not implemented swap chain resizing, when you're resizing the window, you can see what happens. The text here on NVIDIA overlay, it's getting bigger as well. But if I let go, you can see now it goes down because I have implemented the resizing. So if I remove the window or resize the window, interestingly enough, on my stream preview it's resizing smoothly, and on my screen it's lagging. I have no idea why that's happening, but yeah. See now, no overlay, let go, have the overlay back in there. So actually what I'm doing here is swap chain resizing without issues. Now let me quickly open up the diff for that so that we can take a look at what's going on here. Let me open this up on GitHub. Gonna take a sec. There we go. Now, these are the diffs that have been changed since the last stream. Now, basically what I'm doing here in my main application, after I have created a display surface for that window, so the surface where the where we can draw into, I am adding a behavior to the window. The behavior to the window is the window swap chain implementation. It's called implementation because there's also a base class, and the implementation basically is the class for direct, or not for DirectX, but for Windows or anything else. Currently, just Windows. That is basically handling all that connection between the window and the GPU. And what it also needs here is the GPU I and the display. So it requires the GPU interface and the display surface. The display surface, again, it's the object that contains the swap chain, and the GPU I interface is kind of like the DirectX device. Now, what I've removed in the onUpdate function is the present call to the display object, so to the display surface, to the swap chain. This has been removed because it's now done automatically by the window, because we added the behavior to the window. Then on the app destroy, I need to remove the behavior again. This is important because if I don't remove it here, I'm going to get DirectX warnings. It's all implemented nicely so that we don't have issues if the display and the GPU I gets released, but we haven't removed the behavior. It's not going to break because we have like our internal ref counting, which is working. And the only thing that you need to do is you need to remove this here so that you don't get error messages in the output while you are debugging, and it says, oh right, object was there but never created, never released. So a created object has not been fully released, and this is basically catching that so that we get rid of all references to DirectX objects here before the app gets destroyed, and we expect it to be destroyed on the on-app destroy, so that everything is cleaned up properly. Now the onUpdate function of the window factory layer is now also handling iterating through the child layers. I don't know why it hasn't done that, probably because I have not called the parent function. I might need to implement this a bit better, but I'm not quite sure of that. I think I have implemented, I don't know. Basically what previously I've just called handle pending window events, which was handling the window events but was not passing that through to the actual windows. Now basically I call an update of the windows as well, and in the window itself, in the window layer, so we have the window factory layer, that's kind of like the root layer that contains the window class and is able to create windows itself. And the window layer is one concrete window, and the window also needs to call its onUpdate function so that the window gets updated as well when we are updating our application. Now what I have implemented for the DirectX side, I have implemented a few utility classes. I have implemented an iLock. iLock is an interface for concurrent locks, so for multi-threading, spin locks and stuff like that, lightweight locks that are not mutexes, because mutexes are not fast. And basically what a lock need to be able to do is try, acquire, and release. Release to release the lock, and try, acquire is required so that we can try to acquire the lock and return true if we were able to acquire the lock. Now I also have a normal acquire function here, which is templated so that you can also insert a waiting function. So basically what this is doing, while it's not able to acquire the lock, it's going to call this waiting function. Now this waiting function could be anything that you need. It just needs to be invocable. You could pass in an SD function there. This is a nice thing with templates. You can do like everything that you like. And basically what's going to do is call this function if it was not able to acquire the lock, and the function is only going to return when it was able to acquire the lock. Normally it's this PDK concurrent lock default yield, which is the std this thread yield function of the std library. This yielding basically just means, hey, tell the operating system I'm waiting for something, and tell the operating system that it can do its scheduling and put another thread on there. Normally Windows is already doing the multi-threading itself, so normally you wouldn't really need to call this, but that's a nice thing. If you're calling this, you're basically telling the operating system that you are currently waiting for something, and the operating system can go in and do something. But what we can of course later also do is we can swap out this to another task. If we are going to implement a task system in the future, I'm not quite sure if I want to do this, or if we are going to do this at some point, maybe yes, probably yes, at some point we're going to write our own like user mode scheduling in there. And if we have user mode scheduling, we can just replace this with the PDK concurrent lock default yield. We can replace this with our own function here by basically defining this before we include it, and then we can automatically switch to a different task of our own task system. Now I also have a lock guard. The lock guard is a a guard to a lock. What is the responsibility of the lock guard? The lock guard's responsibility is to acquire a lock during construction of the object and to release it when the object gets destroyed, or we explicitly call a release on the lock guard object itself. So basically what it can do on a constructor, it takes a reference to an iLock, so it needs an iLock to operate on. It's storing this internally, and it optionally also has this concurrent lock default yield function, which is basically the wait function that is then used here for the acquiring. Same thing as I explained here with that acquire function, just passing that on so you can template this when constructing the lock itself as well. And after the lock is acquired, the constructor returns and the normal execution of a function can continue on. And if the object gets destroyed, we're basically releasing the lock. Releasing the lock is done by checking if it has been already released, which is by default false. And if it not has been already released, the lock is released and the release is set to true so that we can like store the state. Now basically what this allows us is to release it if we are done with the critical section and we say, okay, the lock guard is finished, we're releasing now. Or if the complete function is a critical section, then you just have the lock guard on the top. You just need the constructor, you don't need to call functions on the lock guard. It's all working like easily like a charm. Now I have a spin lock in here. Here is the header of the spin lock. It's basically implementing an iLock and overwriting the functions try, acquire, and release. Try acquire is using the test and set function of the SCT atomic flag. The atomic flag is basically just a boolean that you can test and set. Test and set is going to set this to 1 and return you the old value. If the old value was 0, we were able to acquire it, so we need to invert it and return it here. Now the SD memory order is required so that the memory is accessed in the right order and it prevents instruction reordering and cache line flushing and all that stuff. So yeah, that's why we have acquire in here. Here release is very simple, we just clear the flag with the memory order release. Now what I've added to the display surface, so the swap chain, I've added a new virtual function here called resize, because we need to be able to resize the swap chain, so we need to have a function for that, a virtual function in the contract interface of the hardware abstraction layer. Now the iGPU interface also now requires a new function. The function required is the flush comment queue function. Normally we have 3 comment queues always available. We have a direct comment queue for rendering, a compute comment queue for just only compute tasks, and a copy comment queue for copy operations between the GPU and the CPU, system memory and VRAM. And these 3 queues are default queues. I'm not going to implement them dynamically. You have objects for them. They're going to be handled by the iGPU interface itself. But we need to be able to flush them to be sure that we can resize the swap chain or even do on other queues 2 different operations. So this is why we have this flush comment queue function here, which takes a queue lane. The queue lane can be direct compute or copy. And the count, how many times we want to flush. This is required because the XGI requires you to flush the queue as many times as you have buffers in your swap chains, or 2 or 3 in our case. This is why we have that function in here. Now the window also requires an on-update function. The window requires an on-update function because we want to actually update it. We need to update it to update the swap chain. So this is why we have an update here in the iWindow interface here. And what I also added is I have added a remove behavior function, which allows you to remove any arbitrary behavior inside the inside of the behavior chain of the window. Now the first implementation of the window swap chain is implemented here. This is like the general implementation. Let me quickly uncollapse this and take a look at the header. This is completely new. What this header is describing is it is describing a basic implementation of a window swap chain. So a swap chain that is connected to a window, so the behavior is the window swap chain, and basically what you're doing is by adding this behavior to your window, you are attaching the swap chain object the display surface to the window. Constructor, very simple, needs a GPU interface and a display surface. It's taking actual H object handles, so handles that we have implemented with our own ref counting, and it's copying these handles. So basically we are incrementing the ref count of our GPU interface on our display surface because it's now used inside the window. Now it's also asserting them that they work, and you know, we basically just don't wanna have copy, and we don't wanna have but we wanna have move. Virtual destructure, understandable by its own. functions that it supports. On update, resize required and enable vsync. Enable vsync is just going to pass through to the display surface. Resize required is just checking an internal flag if resizing is required. On update is going to make sure, we're going to see this implementation in a second, that we can present the swap chain and potentially resize the window. Now, enable vsync, already talked about that. Let's talk about the internal function. So we have a internal protected function that gets the GPU interface and the display surface if we need direct access to them, but only for subclasses here. I don't want to expose them publicly. Internally, we also have two functions. The first function is called notify window size change. This one should be called by the concrete implementation with the new width and height, so that we can notify it that it has been changed. And we also have the resize now function, which is invoking the resize of the swap chain now. Flush GPU function is a private function just used internally as a helper, which makes sure that the queue lanes are flushed correctly. Now let's maybe take a look at implementation. Implementation is very simple. On update, we are checking if we need to resize. If we are resizing, we are flushing the GPU and we are calling resize on the display surface. On this end, we are setting resize required to false. After that, we can present the frame. Resize now function is simple. We are checking if resizing is required, and if we require it, we resize it and set the resize required to false, which is I think currently not even used, but it's in there. Don't know why I've put that in here. Notify window size change is very simple. We are checking that width and height are valid. This can be done if somebody has an incorrect implementation, or the Win API might return a 0 and 0 for the size at certain points. So I'm checking that here, and I also want to make sure that the widths are different. If we have the same width, then we don't need to resize it. If one of them has been changed and they are valid, we are just applying them internally and setting resize required to true. On the destructor, I am just flushing the GPU, because we need to flush the GPU as well when we are destroying the swap chain. So if the behavior is removed before the swap chain gets released, we need to make sure that we flush the GPU so that all buffers have no pending operations on them. Down here, flush GPU is very simple. I'm extracting my buffer count from the buffering mode of the display service, and then I'm telling the GPU interface to flush a common queue, in this case the direct common queue with the number of buffers that we have. That's how many times we need to flush them. Now down here we have this build.lua file. It's just a new module inside of our project for our common code of the hardware abstraction layer. So shared code that is used by all hardware abstraction layers. I might want to skip these 2 quickly, these 4 quickly, these 5 quickly, and show you how the Windows swap chain works. Now, how does the Windows swap chain works? The Windows swap chain is the window swap chain on Windows is just a child class of the general Windows swap chain. It specifies the destructor. This is just a macro to make things a bit easier. And I'm just overwriting the onWindow event function here. The onWindow event function is going to check if we have a Windows event. Basically, if we are on Windows, we're going to have one, but we need to cast this anyways. And then I'm switching on the message, and if we get a VM size message, I am checking that we are not minimizing. If we are minimizing, no need to resize. The other parameters might require a resize, and then I'm just passing this on to the notify window size change with the width and height extracted with the Microsoft macros from the lparam, so that we can correctly resize our swap chain. This function is never going to handle anything. It's always going to return false. This is just a monitoring function. It's just going to monitor the window messages, but it's not going to override default behavior. This is also considered in the mapping now. The normal Windows swap chain implementation is on Windows, the actual Windows swap chain. Again, just a bit of using to make this a bit more cross-platform to map this correctly. Now let's take a look at what I've changed on the GPU. The GPU interface now has the implementation of this flush common queue function. and it has an internal function to get a internal comment queue. Internal comment queue is the actual object that represents the comment queue. This is an internal object that's not meant to be exposed. This is why it's inside this internal namespace inside the PDK HAL D3D12 namespace. So it's PDK HAL D3D12 internal, and it's an internal comment queue here that I can get with get comment queue. The comment queue down here are now moved into the correct objects. Previously we had them as direct com pointers to Microsoft DirectX objects. Now they are properly in the internal class. What we also have here is a event, a wait event. This is used for flushing the comment queue so that we can wait until flushing is finished. Implementation is not very complicated here. I've just removed all that code that created the comment queues, and I also removed the assertions, and now I've basically replaced this with the construction and moving of internal comment queue objects for the GPU and the type of the comment queue that I want to create. Now down here I also create a Windows event and check that creation was successful. Now what is done here? What is that? Core device, comment queue. What is that? What is it? What is this? I am here on... Oh yeah, this is the move construct. Alright, move construct is now also moving just the new objects here. I think I haven't even moved the handle yet, but that's something that I might need to do in the future as well. That's something that we probably should do in a sec. Let me quickly add this. I'm just gonna forget it if I not add it now. What's that? This was the... Come on. So let's open the D3D12 GPU interface.cpp. Zoom in so that you can see. And we should have the move one here, yeah, comment queue. This is the move, and let's see, quickly move the event. Event equals other event and other event equals null. I think I haven't even added code to... Actually, it's more at the null point. I think I haven't even added code to clear the event. I think I just completely forgot about the event. Yeah, I completely forgot about the event. So I just released these ones, and the other ones are released automatically, but we also want to... Let's call this device pointers event. So if my event, then... I don't know, release... What is the function for releasing events on Windows? Create event. Create event, creative event. So remarks. Close handle, okay. Close handle. Event. Alright. So now the event is done properly as well. Completely forgot about that. Now, event. Okay, this is like how it's moved. Not really something complicated here, just std move of objects. Very simple. Flush comment queue is a bit more interesting. How does flush comment queue works? First of all, we get a pointer to the queue itself by calling the get comment queue function. It's very simple. We just switch on the lane and return a pointer to the specific member object. Very simple. Now, if the queue is existing and the event is valid, then we're gonna create a cookie by bulk signaling the queue. The queue bulk signal basically means to signal it multiple times. In this case, I want to signal it how many times we had get it count. Count is then going to be 2 or 3, depending on how many buffers we have. So we bulk signal it 2 or 3 times, and we are getting a cookie back. The cookie is an object that we can use to check if the operation has been done, in this case the flushing. So what I am doing here is I am gonna notify an event. I tell the queue that it should notify an event if it reaches the cookie, and the event is the event that I have created internally. So it is basically gonna notify or set this Windows event as soon as the cookie has been reached, as soon as flushing is done. And this is then checked or waited for by calling wait for a single object for that event. Do wait maximum of 10 seconds. If these 10 seconds time out, this evaluation will be not true, because it's then gonna be the wait timeout and not wait object 0. Wait object 0 means the first wait object has been reached, and I just checked that this is the case, and then we get through. Or if this was not the case, or something went wrong during waiting, we get false. Also here down, if something else goes wrong, also false here. So that's actually quite straightforward. Now let's take a look at the display surface. What did I change in the display surface? I've just removed the move constructor and the move assign, because we don't need to implement this. We just have the swap chain and a few standard stuff. If I would expand this, these are all things that we can copy with the default implementation. So I've removed that moving. There's no point in having it in here if we don't have anything that needs to be done manually. Now the implementation, we basically just removed these things. Now I also, okay, why didn't I saw that yet? Yeah, because I'm an idiot. I have forgotten to tell you that. So I've added the resize function, of course, the resize function for resizing the buffers of a swap chain. And I have two private functions called acquire buffer and release buffers, because the swap chain has internal buffers that need to be acquired and released. Released when the swap chain gets destroyed, and acquired when the swap chain gets created. If we resize it, we need to release it, resize the swap chain, and acquire the buffers again. It's just because of how this works, so that I've moved this into their own functions. Now these are of course used in the, where is it? In the constructor, we have the acquire function here. I don't know why it's kind of like showing this to be in here, but it's actually a constructor. This is the end of the constructor, and here is the call to acquire buffers, even though it kind of like has the move still in here, but that's not right. That's looking a bit ugly here on GitHub, but that's basically inside the constructor. And then inside of the destructor, I'm releasing the buffers before I release my swap chain. Get buffering mode. Yeah, I'm in buffer mode. Okay. So how does resizing the swap chain work? First of all, I told you we are releasing the buffers. After that, I can call the resize buffers function on the swap chain. Resize buffers requires the number of buffers that should be in here now. I'm using the get buffering mode here, converted to a U&IHT, which means 2 or 3 buffers. The new width, the new height, an unknown format, which means keep the old format, and the 2 flags that we already had previously, so that they are kept. Down here, I'm just also storing my current width and height here, and then I call acquire buffer again to get my buffers back. Acquiring buffers is just a matter of iterating over all buffers, and I am gonna check if I can get the buffer from the swap chain with the current index to my buffer array, and if that fails, fail to acquire a swap chain buffer. Release buffers is very simple, just a ranged for loop here over the whole buffers array, and we're just going to call a release function here, since this is a COM point that's going to handle the case if it's null and it's not releasing that. So we don't need to have a complicated for that. We can go over all of them, and we are safer. There's still some garbage in there that would clean this up as well, even though it shouldn't happen. Now let's talk about the comment queue. The comment queue is also a complete new implementation that I've added. The comment queue is created with a device and a type, and the comment queue can execute something. It can execute a lambda. The lambda that is executed returns a boolean, and as a parameter it takes a pointer to a comment queue, a DirectX pointer to a comment queue, and this is the work function. So that's the function that can actually do operations on that comment queue, and if it returns true, it means that work has been done, or the queue needs to be signaled and we need to get an execution cookie. If you return false from that, you're not getting an execution cookie, you're not getting a valid execution cookie, because the comment queue doesn't need to be signaled, and we don't need to wait for it. Bulk signal is the function we already talked about, signaling and waiting for a specific time. Is finished is a function that can check if a certain execution cookie has already been finished. It's a non-blocking function, while notify event is basically setting this event as soon as the execution is done, and then you can externally block to wait until it's done. You don't need to write your own loop. You can use Windows events for that. We also have a get function to get the actual queue and an explicit conversion operator here. Now the implementation itself is also very simple. Just a basic descriptor. We check that it can be created, and we are also creating a fence so that we can signal the fence when a certain operation is done, which starts at the work fence value of 0. Now the move constructor is gonna acquire a lock. Okay, I haven't talked about that. Actually, since we're gonna have multi-threading in the future, we need to make sure that an actual execute call on that queue is not done from 2 threads simultaneously, or we might have some issues in there with the execution cookies and another thread waiting for GPU work of a different thread, and if we have like a big rendering job and a small rendering job, and the small rendering job was done before the big rendering job, and then we might have 2 threads waiting until both jobs are finished, and that's not really what you want. So I basically have a, why is it not, here it is. I have my spin lock here, a work lock, and this is basically locking all work to executing and like modifying this object in general. And this is also why I acquire this lock in the move constructor. I acquire the lock in the move constructor because I want to make sure that the other object is completely useless. If I acquire the lock and never release it, the other object is going to be useless and it's going to block forever. This might not be the cleanest thing to do, and we might do this differently in the future and have a way there to actually throw an issue and say you are calling on an invalid object or something like that, but currently it's implemented like that. After that I can move and copy all my data over. Move assignment is just calling this with an interesting way. Now, execute itself is very simple. We are creating a lock guard on my work lock. The work lock is again the lock that asserts that we just have 1 thread working on that, and this is going to hold it until that function is finished. Now what I do is I execute my work function that has been given in here by calling it, the call operator, with my queue in here. And if this is true, I'm going to signal it. So I have the work fence in here and the new value. I'm going to increment it and then return the value so that we signal it with the new value that we are waiting for. And then the work fence value is just returned, because the execution cookie on Windows is just a uint64. And I think this is even in here somewhere. Where is it? It's not in here. The execution cookie. Interesting. But it is somewhere. I miss my using directive, but it's probably in some mapping header. And bulk signal, very simple. We also lock the object, and then we just signal it a few times, and then we're returning the work fence value that we currently have. The same thing, a bit more compressed down to it. We could actually, now we could not call the execute function because we would need to call it multiple times, so this one is a better implementation. It's finished, it's simple. We basically check if our value is smaller or equal the completed value of the fence. And this means that it's finished executing. Notify event, also simple. We say the fence that it should set the event on completion. Value event done. If it fails, exception. I have currently looked in the wrong header. The common queue header is here. And here's the using execution cookie as uint64t. That's nice. Hey Shark, what is about my code? Do you mean when it's gonna be public, or how I'm gonna handle this? Probably. Yeah, I still need to get all my license and repository description stuff done, but I'm currently a bit short on time, except Friday, so because I have currently two projects in university at the same time, and then another like four lessons where I need to in like 2 months need to write exams on that, and I currently have no time during the week, so it's a bit short on time on handling all that paperwork. But at some point I'm gonna publish it. Well, it's already on GitHub, but at some point I'm gonna set it to public. So let's also take a look at the implementation, what I've changed to the Windows window. This is the last thing, and we're gonna jump into writing code, what we wanna do today. So the Windows window has been adapted by giving it an onUpdate function. And the onUpdate function is just gonna update each behavior. And the update of each behavior is then used to do all the presenting and resizing of the swap chain. And this comes all together into my implementation here. Alright, so let's start by what I want to do today. What do I want to do today? Well, we today want to do rendering. Can we get that far? I have no idea. Probably not. Maybe yes. I know. DirectX is always a bit bitchy if you want to start with it. Because we just have a comment queue. Why not use GitHub Desktop? I think I have it installed. Yeah, I have it installed, but I mean, yeah, it would be nice. I know. I mean, it's also I think it's also nice to see it here. I could also like do this all in Visual Studio, right? I could also go in here and click on that commit, and then I can could also make this window. I think I could kind of not detach this, but I could also like take a look at this here in Visual Studio. So yeah, I really know you have more ways to do it. So yeah, was not really idea behind it. Just the simplest way for me to quickly open this up and show this to you. So really no thought behind that why I have not used it. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to implement shader compiling, maybe shader hot reloading, and I want to implement free type. So two big things, and today we're going to battle test if my build tool, my dependency tool, works without issues. So we're going to try to bring in the DirectX shader compiler today. This is the first one that we're going to do. It's going to be easy. And then we're going to try to add free type, which is going to be a bit harder. So let's start today by adding the DirectX shader compiler. Let's see if we can find it. Yes, we can find it. What is that? Unity Technologies cross compiler? What is that thing doing? That's useful for the future when we are adding Vulkan cross shader compiling. But we're gonna start with that one, the Microsoft DirectX shader compiler. Now the thing is, we're not gonna do this from source because it's not really meant to be done from source. I've actually once tried to fix a bug in there, or tried to actually experience a bug which like somebody had, and believe me, it was a pain in the butt to get this compiled, and I actually ended up my system always crashing when I tried to run their commands. I have no idea why, but basically the system just... not the system, I think it was Visual Studio. Visual Studio locked up during opening of the solution, and I had to reinstall Visual Studio. So we're just gonna take the release here. So let's right click this. I'm gonna copy the URL here, and then now we're gonna import this. So I want to add a new dependency. The dependency is gonna be called DirectX shader compiler. The target is DXC, DirectX compiler. Homepage is that one, and the action to do it is a lambda, which is creating a tuple because Python sucks. And now we can do our work. So we want to download a zip, that one. And now we want to basically copy files from that zip. But first of all, we need to take a look how the zip actually looks. Home page has been written not correctly. Do I want to have... Does Microsoft have an official link for that? I don't think so. I think the repository is the most official thing that you're going to get. But Microsoft does like to have... No, they don't have an official page if I don't get one in the first Google results. So we're going to get the GitHub page in here. Now, downloading the zip. We're now going to do this manually and see what we get. So where's the window? Here. Right. So go back to the releases and let's download the zip and see what we get. Let's download these and see what we have in there. Now my zoom screen is probably gonna be completely screwed up, but we're gonna see it. No, it's working. It's the other one was not working. So what we have in here is binary, include, and lib. We actually need all of them. So binary, AMD 64 and x64. What's the what? Well, no, this is ARM. I'm an idiot. This is ARM 64. Okay, this makes sense. ARM makes sense. AMD not. I'm so used to seeing AMD 64 currently because I've done a lot of packaging on Linux recently for university. That I was kind of confused. So right, we need the binary folder x64, the full folder bin x64. Does the tool support this? Copy file. Do we also have a copy folder, copy directory? All right. So we want to use that function here. So we want to copy from bin x64. And we want to copy this to binary. Now, what we also want to do is we want to probably copy the whole full include folder. How is the include folder structured? Include. Yeah, include. Yeah, okay, so we're just going to copy from the inc to include here. Oh, no, you're not seeing anything because I forgot to zoom out. Ah. I'm an idiot. This one. So bin x64 to binary and include to include. We're not caring about the ARM stuff, so this one should be fine. And now I also want to copy the library directory x64 to lib. So lib x64 to lib. This is what we want to do. And now I want to set up include directories and library directories. How can I do this? I can say add lib and add include. These two functions are interesting. Now basically this is going to be download precompiled. And now I want to copy my files. And then I want to set up dependencies. Dependencies like that? Okay, if you like it. Now I want to add include and lib. That is correct. The include directory and the lib directory need to be set it up. And now I want to add a link. I'm not quite sure if add link currently works because I've added this like debug link and release link. But let's see. Do we have normal links as well? Yeah, we have them in here. So the function should still work. We can take a look at this if it still works. Does it work? Add link. Yeah, self link works. Right, good. So we're gonna add a link to, how is the file called? dxcompiler.lib. Can I copy the file name? dxcompiler.lib. I can remember that. dxcompiler.lib. Did I add the .lib here? Yeah, I added the .lib. So now this, in theory, should add a dependency to our project. Now let's see. DevTool. Generate project. Downloading. Yeah, it's now downloading it. Copying. generating. All projects have been generated. Now inside of my dependencies, I should have DXC with the compiler DLL. Yeah, they are in here. We also have the DXC exe. We have the includes in here. That's also good. The library, dxcompiler.lib is here as well. Okay, so this looks all good. Also, that one should be populated with the full path to it. dxclib, dxcinclude, dxcompiler.lib. Yep, that looks good. So the DirectX compiler should now be available here. And how can we test this? Where could I simply... Oh, I always test it in my minimal app. So I should be able to include dxc, no, how was it called? dxcompiler? No, how was the include called? d3d shader.h, okay. d3d 12 shader.h. And how was the other header called? Kabapi. No. I am too bad to remember things. DXC API. This is actually the one that we are looking for, the DXC API.h. Because this one should... Deckelspec DLL import, yeah. Attribute, interesting, okay. And this should create, this should do everything. DXC create instance 2. This has all the shader compiler stuff in here. DXpart PDB, ILDB, yeah, this is everything that we need to do. So now we should, oh, these are also here. These ones are nice. Was not aware that they are in here actually, but they are useful. The IDXC blob, yeah, that's all good. These are the things that we need. These are the things that we need to compile shaders. The only thing that I might have an issue with my build system is that my build system currently is gonna also require this on release, which is something that we might not want to do. We might not want to have the dependencies in here if we are deploying, but this is something that we're gonna take care later on. Later on, we might have a function in the dependency to basically tell stuff like x non-distribute. And if you call this like x non-distribute, it's gonna get a flag on pre-make that it's not included in distribution builds. But we're gonna get to this later. It's kind of like marking that at some point, but always something to deal later. We don't want to over-engineer from the beginning. Alright, so DirectX shader compilers in here. That's good. We need this one. And since we are already done doing here our stuff with dependencies, let's directly continue on with FreeType. So let's take a look on FreeType. FreeType in general is in its own website that looks very bright. And it has like their own distribution. It's good that we have this non-GNU of SourceNet. SourceNet, I did want it to actually at some point find out how you can download from them. I mean, this is total pointless now to download from them, but this is probably the Windows one because it's a zip. We're gonna find this out, okay? How we can download from SourceNet, because those SourceNets download aren't. I don't know. Had I downloaded this already for AngelScript? No, because they have distributed on their own. But I have found an article you can actually robo download from SourceNet. SourceForge Python download. This was something that I once called. Okay. Automatic download. Downloading files via the command line. This is the article that we are talking about. Projects, files. admin stable, PHP 5 admin. So we need the full path and then /download. Was it that easy? Looks like it. Let's see if it works. Did my dependency tool already support this? Probably not, because I'll take a look at this and said, oh, that's simple, we don't need to do this. So, free type 2. Okay. Now, free type 2. I'm just gonna steal all that stuff here quickly. No point in writing this twice. So, free type 2. Free type 2, website. Free type, that one. .html, really interesting. Okay, so download and compile, because free type probably needs to be compiled. Might not, but we're gonna see. I think it needs to be compiled, actually. Did I always trade with a... Yeah. So I want to do this here as well. So, from where are we gonna download the good old free type? We're gonna download it from that one here. So, that's a path, and then we need to append the file name and a /download. And the nice thing is that you're gonna get completely rid of the, like, oh, your download is gonna get downloaded in 5 seconds thing. Download. And this should hopefully work. We can test this quickly. No, we can't, because I might screw things up if the dependency is already there. Oh, do I screw this up? How did it work? How did I check if it's already there? I think if that file exists, so I would need to manually delete this. But we can quickly do this and check if it downloads it. What? Oh, I downloaded it as package.zip. So Forgenet is doing its download differently. Okay, so we're gonna write our own function for download. Downloads zip source forge. So we need our own function for that. Download zip source forge. And then we're just gonna have the path here, and the rest is gonna be appended there. Okay, so download zip source forgenet. How can we download this? So dev2 dependency 2. Where's my download zip? Download zip. There's my download zip. What? It downloaded it correctly, but it was not a zip? Aha! That doesn't look good. This is downloaded the HTML. Okay, so what did I do wrong? wget. Project files. Project files. Free type 2. What is that one here? Why is it so ugly? Is that a real path that works? Yeah, because the folder is named like that there. Okay, so this isn't the issue. So in theory this should work. Download file name. Oh. So Python is at some point not really download file from source forge. What is Is it really that hard? Okay, so this was fortunate. Screw you. I'm just gonna go to non-GNU. I hope that they have a zip. Yeah, they have it. At least they have a zip. This is gonna make my life 1,000 times easier. I wanted to try Source Fortunate actually, but because I never have done it, but it should go easy, but it doesn't, sadly. This Source Fortunate is like that, but yeah. And it works like a charm. I mean, it's not doing anything yet, but it's working like a charm here. If you're downloading from the right source, it works. So let's get that one and see what's in there. Let's explore how FreeType looks. Boom. So, FreeType, it's in a subfolder called FreeType whatever. Do we already have builds in here? Builds, Windows, is there some binary in here? Visual C. So there's a solution file. And I have no freaking idea how it works. So we do wanna now try to trick our tool to not delete my temporary data either. Can we trick my tool to not to delete temporary data? We might need to reprogram it, but I hope it works. Alright, so this is the path that we have. FreeType.sln. Okay. Let's copy that one. And in theory, we should just be able to call my xmsbuild. x.msbuild. We already have a solution that works. We can say freetype.sln, and in theory this should build. Now we do want to give it a bit of configuration here. x64 toolset v143 and debug to get our debug build, and then we also want to have a release build. And I am again zoomed in. Yeah, thank you. Like that. That's how we want to do it, in theory. x.msbuild, pass to solution, property, configuration, debug, platform, whatever. And then we would do this again for release. But I'm just going to have this for debug now, and now I need to just tell my tool to not delete my temporary folders. How can I tell my tool to not delete the temporary folders? How have I implemented that? If everything works well, resolve dependencies is deleting the temporary folder down here. Download premix. Oh, resolve open dependencies .lua deleting temporary data. Ah, keep it. Oh, I already have this as an argument. Oh, didn't know that I already thought about that. So let's maybe invoke this manually. So resolve dependencies help. So -t would keep the temp, but this will not work actually if I do this now. It cannot build this, right? Because we need the x64 developer comment prompt for VS 2022. That one. This is required, or it will not work. Can I actually... I always love this. Reveal in File Explorer. So there we are. Now we should be able to say DevTool generate... no, resolve dependencies T. Oh, where did I mistype that? Resolve dependencies. Resolve dependencies. Now this is downloading FreeType. Okay. Root element is missing. Okay. Yeah, but that's not really what you want to do. You don't want to really add this to path because this like depends on your environment. You need to actually, if you would need to do this properly, I would need to locate the VC Varsol in my dev tool. And then I would need to run VS Varsol with the correct Visual Studio version and build versions. So that it works, because we have like multiple versions of CL, so that's not really something that you want to do. You either just want to have this in the correct command line, or manually. You can manually search this. You can invoke the Visual Studio installer with a certain arguments, and if you're invoking the Visual Studio installer with the argument, it's going to tell you where Visual Studio is installed in which versions, and you would need to inspect this data, find Visual Studio 2022 or whatever Visual Studio you want to build for, and then you're going to get the passes to the toolchains, and then you can basically know where your correct VC Varsol is, and then you can invoke the VC Varsol to get the path elements there, to get a proper path to your Visual Studio version. This is like, I think, also how CMake does it, but I'm not quite sure of that. Hello, welcome to the stream, Falling. But as you can see, that's not really working. What I'm trying to do here. So that's the wrong solution. Okay, so do we have CMake in here? Yeah, we have CMake. So we would probably want to do a CMake build to get a solution with CMake. Okay. Now, CMake hasn't been implemented yet. Yeah, but regex matching is just gonna work if you install this to the correct or to the default location. Visual Studio. Oh yeah. Okay, so FreeType. Okay, I think I'm not gonna get far with that without really actually trying to install FreeType one time by my own. So I'm gonna copy this to a folder that I'm gonna open up in a sec. The thing is, like, I have all of my applications installed on different drives and stuff like that that are just meant for that, so all these default solutions are... this is like why I'm always aware of these things. No, that's the wrong directory. There's probably already a FreeType in here. You can remove prior to that. Actually, we can actually zoom down in here, because CMake, I'm gonna use the CMake guy. That somehow. Alright, so where is the source code? There is the source code. Where do I want to have the stuff in here? I'm just going to now temporarily put this into a CMake underscore build directory, just temporary. Let's configure that quickly. So VS 2022, and everything else should be good. Okay, so why did it have this issue? But it's still doing what it does. Okay. So it's I don't think that we need to set anything here, but should be good. Disable or require. I think by default, if it can't find this, it's not going to support all these encoding stuff. It's always a bit bitchy, FreeType, because it's then not going to be able to load all glyphs if they are compressed, like with clib, bzlib, which is currently okay, but we might need to redo this completely later on. But I'm gonna quickly click on generate and open project to see what we get. So normally it should give us a solution in here, and also the include for the configuration file. And then we are able to build FreeType. And by default, if I would do it's gonna open this up in a second. Batch build. I should be able to just say, alright, I want to have this one, debug and release, and I hit build. And then we should get a free type in a second. Yeah. There we are. No, wrong directory. CMake build. Actually, I can open this up. Code. So we can inspect this properly. So now we should have these, I think, the intermediate directories, but on debug we should have the library and the PDB. Free type directory itself, okay, this is just the binary stuff, but here we have a few headers that we need for the configuration. And we also have release library in here. So we have everything that we need. And then we need to also copy the... No, if not, it would be a bit better to open it completely. But we have like this global include directory here as well, and we would need to match them together. And this would be fine then. I don't know if DLG is even required, but we might need it. But this is like the steps that we would need to do to get a proper free type belt. Proper, it's a big question if it's proper, because we do not have our compression libraries in here, but we should get a basic free type. A free type, proper free type in here. Now CMake command line options. Never worked with them, actually quite extensive, or it's quite a long time ago that I've worked with the command line of CMake, but we should get to that. So the dependency tool now needs to be able to invoke CMake. So where's my MS build? I'm probably an idiot and have already scrolled over it. Should be somewhere here. No? Where is it? There it is. Like, this is MS build. This is really simple. CMake build. It's not gonna be simple. Actually, CMake build, yeah, let's call this the root, and the root is by default the current directory. Okay, I think I used these ones, so I will want to use them conveniently. So pre-make. No, CMake. Configure, I think. Do we want to configure and generate? Actually, we want to configure and generate. That's what we want to do with subprocess. Then we want to have the, I don't know, these are the arguments, but I do want to have specify my working directory. Actually, I don't care. Okay, so CMake, what can you do? CMake.h. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Alright, so CMake options pass to source, pass to build. This is definitely what we want to do. We want to evoke it in that way. So we're going to have some options in here. Just going to indicate them by dots here very quickly. Then we're going to have the path to the source. The source is going to be at, now, actually I just want to have this at an empty string actually. Because we're going to have this at the temp directory. And then we're going to have package. And then we're going to have the root, the subdirectory. This is going to be the source. Now the build is going to be... Now that's a big question. Where do we want to have the build? Because we would then need to call different functions to copy from there. So... do we just call the subfolder build? Oh yeah, you already have written this in there. Yeah, thank you. I'm not quite sure. I really would like to have it in a folder just called build like that. The issue would be that everything is like now depending on this package. Like all of these replace and file, they are all always operating on the package directory. Yeah, but I think we're just gonna call it build, or we might have it as we gotta have this as an option here. Build. Or we're just gonna call this source and build so that it matches how the CMake syntax work. And then we gonna specify it like that to build. Now options, I probably do wanna have an option. More options that I need to do. Platform name, toolchain. Don't think that we need to actually specify some of them. Or we might need to have the generators. Marks default, okay, but we're already using like the default one. But we might wanna manually say Visual Studio. Or we live with the default one. I mean, everything in here is hard coded, but let's we're gonna allow some options in here. So let's allow some options, and then we should be able to just say that one to push in the options here, and if they're empty, it's gonna push in nothing. So we can always specify them later on. All right. And okay, not gonna call this CMake build. I'm just gonna call this CMake. And then I can later on run MS build if I have the solutions ready. So instead of that, we're gonna say CMake, and this is the folder to the source. Oh, but the build one is of course not empty. The build one is gonna go to the subdirectory build. And then the CMake build type debug, is it already invoking it? It should in theory just output me my Visual Studio solution that I can then invoke. And then I can do it with MS build, but I don't know. I'm gonna see what it does, and then we're gonna see. Hey, yeah, you already have these dependency ready, I know. Yeah, because now I have like this SLN in here. Now I would think that I can now use this SLN to compile it. But I could try this out, what it does if I directly tell it to build. If it's then automatically invoking, probably it should automatically invoke this, so I don't need to do it. Let's see. Let's see. What would happen? Let's delete the source scripts. No, dependencies. Build files have been written to, but it's not doing anything. Was it invoked with the correct arguments? No idea. Let's test this out. But I don't know. We can print this. We can print this so that we can see how it would invoke it. CMake options, we can take that one and quickly do a print on that to see what it has done. Okay, yeah, of course. Need to always clear this. I know I think I have this renew dependencies, but they are gonna renew everything. They don't want to do this. So CMake. Okay, so there is something in here. What is that? Why is that? Okay, why are you appending that? DC make build. What do I have? I pasted in there. Alright, there is some trashy Unicode character that I've copied from YouTube. That would be a reason. Isn't it automatically building it? No, it's not automatically building it if I specify this. Yeah. I know, yeah, if I would need to do them, I mean, they are not required. I need to download them and then need to set this, yeah. So that I can find it. Which is something that I probably want to do later on. But for now, just to get a basic font working, I think it should work. I know that there are fonts that work, but there are also fonts that don't work. So that CMake can do it. But for now, I'm just gonna do a very basic CMake build, just without any things in here. In the future, we wanna probably do it. I don't know why. Like, fonts are really a bad thing. Like, there are no tools that allow you to say, hey, I don't do it. I mean, there are font tools, but I never really managed to take an existing font and convert it into a format that I like. Maybe FFmpeg can do something. Haha, no, FFmpeg does not do something like that, but it does many things. I know I recently saw a joke about FFmpeg, about like a tool that can do everything, but nobody uses it because it's too complicated. But yeah. I'm just gonna do a MS build on the solution here. Now there is a build directory. And it is called, so we are gonna be at build 3 type .sln. Free type SLN, boom, debug, release. And this should in theory build it, but I might want to check that it... Okay, we're gonna go full in and compile everything, it's not that big. I already deleted this. Ah, what a pity. Now this is compiling it, this is what I'm looking for. But I would want to quickly revisit that it compiled this correctly after it's done. Alright. Let's see what they have done. There we go. Alright, so this was CMake, Microsoft Build Engine, that's correct. To enable parallel build, yeah, we could do this in the future to allow it to build. Debug x64, that's looking good. And it's a package, yeah, creating directory, that's not something that I care about, but it's building it. Now I'm looking for the next Microsoft build thing. MSVC. Host x64 lib.exe, yeah, probably fine. Hopefully fine. Build succeeded. All the warnings again, I think. Time elapsed. Alright. Release x64, yeah. That looks roughly correct. Alright, so now we have this builded. Now we just need to take a look on what we need to copy. So first let's how did I do this? Download and compile. That's right. So now copy. Okay, I first started with the build output. Okay. Build output is going to be now separated because it's going to be a bit more sophisticated what we are doing here. Okay, so build outputs. They are inside of the build directory. Inside of debug, we have the debug libraries. So I want to actually copy files. I'm going to copy them manually. Copy directory, copy file. Here we have it. So I want to copy from build, debug. I want to copy free typed.lib. I want to copy this to lib debug free typed lib. Or we could, I think I might want to, yeah, maybe I want to have the PDB as well. So I could also just copy the full folder here. Copy, how did I call this? Copy directory. So we can copy the full one. That's not an issue. Release. To release. This is the build output that we got. Debug and release, but also the library is the includes. And now we're gonna see if everything gonna be screwed up. If I would now copy include to include, let's see what would happen. I mean, it should be free type config, so that's all properly set it up from directories. Should be good. Let's see what this is gonna do. Or maybe we're gonna set this up completely because I don't want to do it again. Hello, welcome. We are currently on setting up a few libraries that we need to start drawing a bit of debug stuff. I'm actually not going to start with a triangle here, actually. My idea is actually to start with some debug text on the screen. I mean, it's probably stupid because everybody starts with triangles on every project. Then they're moving to quads, but I'm directly going to start with textured quads, which is, I don't know if it's a good idea, but I've written so many triangles. I don't want to start with a triangle here. But I already do quads. Shouldn't be an issue. Done the same thing when in my speed code challenge. I directly started with textured quads. It wasn't an issue as well. I mean, like, everybody likes this hello triangle. But yeah. Currently I'm currently questioning my build system. But yeah. I mean, it tries to solve unification of all build systems with like CMake and then stuff, but yeah. I mean, this is already not cross-platform with that MS build in here, but yeah. Let's see what we get in the future. Let's copy the raw includes, and I hope Python's gonna be smart enough, or the function that I've used in Python is smart enough to concatenate these folders together. Let's see. We might want to set up the build as well. How did I call this? Lib setup. Okay, so we call it lib setup. So add include. Actually, since these are called free typed and free type, we can also just build them in one directory. Then I just need to set up one. Add include, add lib, add release link. Add debug link. And then without the D. And this hopefully works now. Let's see. So free type 2. Let's delete this one quickly. Let's see. I mean, it's always going to rebuild this. Yeah, that's how it works when you are debugging stuff. Let's see if this is going to fail. But the question is, in which function make DS? Okay, so depth resolve, resolve new action, copy directory, copy tree. Okay, so copy tree is not able to concatenate directories. Okay, so let's ask Google about that. What Google thinks about that. Concatenate files. How do I concatenate files? Oh, that's probably not the right one. No, I don't want a private mode. I want to go back. Concatenate directory. From this util steer util. In Python there should be only one and correct way to do one thing. Nah, there are not. I hate Python. I hate Python. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. The limitations of the standard copy tree seems arbitrary and annoying. Yeah. Correct. Do I copy paste? Oh god, I love Python. It's so trash. I'm really already concerned and just using them. Using this function as is. Oh, Python. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, come on. No, I'm not gonna try to fix Python here in this video. It's not my point in doing here. This is really not my task. But I need to do this because it includes a... Come on. Why are you doing this? Oh, I see something in the chat that might be really useful. Copy tree, but with assembling false, ignore 9, copy function, copy 2. Let's try this out. Maybe this helps. That would be amazing. That would be amazing if it works. Dependency tool, where is my copy directory? Here it is. Copy 2 is probably... what are the default parameters? Which of them can I remove? Oh, great, I don't know what the default ones are. Amazing! Why are you not telling me that? If I remove them, is it telling me what these are? No, of course not. Okay, this one is probably also in... Is it clear? There. Let's see. Maybe this helps. Would be amazing. Let's see. Hopefully it works. Copy 2 looks good because it seems like okay, copy 1 wasn't good, so we take copy 2. I hope it copies what it copy should. Ignore dangling Suslims. Okay, if you don't know that. Got an unknown, but... Oh. Yeah, okay, just a typo. Let's see. This is why I love C++. Because I'm already telling you what you did wrong during compiling. And not after the long time the other libraries compiled. Cannot create a file where the file already exists. Or am I copying something? Like it's... What is it doing? It's like failing on make dir. I don't know why is it doing make dir. Exist okay. Dirs exist okay. But why are you then failing? If you are getting this exist okay, dirs exist okay, which I think tells it that's okay if directories exist. It's not like even failing in the copy too, right? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, create a folder that already exists. Yeah? Okay, so maybe I need to... Copy tree. Yeah. Here exists. Okay, true. So that one. I mean, the copy 2 is probably good. I'm just gonna try this quickly without these, but I'm gonna add that one. And we're gonna... I don't have the dependency file, so it shouldn't fail, but let's see. If that one helps. Maybe I should add the M so that it's even faster compiling. That looks better. Let's see. Yeah, now it works. So it was because... Why does it try to create the directory? Just really just ignore it. Right? Now we have the ft2 build in here. We have the config in here, which is good. And we have DLG in here, so that's probably good. Let me now quickly check one thing that I want to get 100% sure. That in config we also have an ft-config in here. That might be bad, because now we might override it. Because we are using copy tree. And if ft-config and ft-option already are in here, we might override them if we do it that way around. So I want to make sure that I copy these ones first before I do anything, and everything that follows is overwriting like default stuff. Right, that is hopefully how it can work there. Now I do not no longer need my temp stuff. I'm gonna delete this now in a sec. Or that's gonna be automatically deleted, but yeah. And the dependency file should have the library include directory, and this one all set it up correctly, so this should otherwise work. So let's quickly run this without the -t. Yeah, of course, because the dependency is already there. So let's remove it. And quickly run this again. Alright. Let's make sure that hopefully the correct configuration is in there. What is actually this DLG? I have no idea what DLG is. I don't know why it's even in here. But what is that? What is DLG? Logging library. I don't need logging. But it might be nice. I mean, here you can see what it does. Why is it building DLG? I don't really get the point of having DLG in here. Okay, yes, remake bringing me DLG. Has a DLG included in itself? I have no idea. We're gonna see. I'm just gonna leave it in here. We're might need to clean this up later on, but yeah. But it was a nice, helpful point to the right direction with the copy to. Thank you for that. So now we are ready to generate our project again. Yay! I am a bit concerned why you just generated one project. Why did you just generate one project? This is not right. You should regenerate it all because we have include directories. Interesting. Has it already done that? Behind the scenes? Without me noticing? Let's see. No. Just DXC? Wait, why just DXC? Should have Angel script in there as well. Wait. Why are my includes not working? Why are my include? Why is it working with DXC but not with the other ones? Include deers. That is interesting. Quickly close them all because I'm a bit overwhelmed there. Are you doing that? No, normally you shouldn't do this. No, this is the Lua file. I searched the Pi file. Okay, so how I'm doing this? Normally resolve dependencies. Output say Lua file. With the include directories made with make Lua array of config. Include deals, let's print them. So DXC is in here, free type is in here, and AngelScript is in here. So this shouldn't be an issue. Is the Lua array? No, the Lua array should be fine. So actually the dependencies.lua file should contain the right directories. But it's not. What? Not printing them? Make Lua array. hell? Why is format just giving me... Wait. My format is just giving me the first one always? But somebody told me... Somebody told me they can do all. Because this is giving you... What do I... Do it like that. Without adding them as multiple arguments, just as a normal array. This looks better. But that's not a Lua array. Damn. I tried to... Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. No, this... I don't need this anymore. Okay, so somebody told me on the internet that that one is gonna give me everything. But it seems like we don't get everything. What did I do for rubbish in here? So... Wait. Oh my, I mean, yeah. Okay, so I'm giving it that string here, right? And now I'm gonna tell it to format that string. And I'm gonna give it the first one. And I'm gonna replace that one. So... Ah, the phone rings again. Because I forget to mute them again. They are so loud. But I can't unmute them while they are ringing. But I can do it now. So, that one. Now nobody's gonna phone me again. Ha ha ha. I think what we can do is we can join that one, but instead of what, we're gonna say element and say for element in what. And this is doing the right comprehension stuff. Gdef cpp def include backslash. That looks better. But not on links. The links are not doing its thing. Because probably make Lua array. The config.links. Oh yeah, because we have we have the debug and release links. They are here. I'm an idiot. Okay. So this should work. The only thing that I might want to do is I might want to replace this forward slash as well. I want to replace the forward slash with 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that we have them clean. Huh? Okay, but pre-make was already formatting that, so pre-make was already fixing my issue there. Okay. Right, so this solves that, and now if I reload them all, we should now have correct dependencies in here, so I should be able to use Angel. Come on! Angel script, yeah, Angel script, so DXC API, yeah. FreeType.h, yeah. Alright, so at least from the include side everything works, and now after like 1 hour and too many time, we have everything ready. Let's do a quick build and see that it's still everything builds by making the build system modifications. Looking good. Yeah, 9 succeeded, 2 skipped. The skipped ones are the contract ones are and windowing properly. Probably. Right then. So now dependency stuff working. That's good. Alright then. Okay. Now how do we start? Let's first start by doing FreeType tests. Because FreeType is going to be the big library in question today. Because we first need to generate some debug text before we can use it. Now, of course we need a font. We could steal something from Windows and we could steal something from the web, and we're gonna always see that these fonts are not going to be open because like the libraries for for FreeType are probably missing, but we're going to see this in a sec, what FreeType is going to yell at us. I know that FreeType is a bit more graceful when it comes to libraries, but also FreeType has limitations. So let's start by including FreeType and... Come on! Just tested that. That works. That definitely works. Why do you build everything again? I told you that it works, even though you think it doesn't work. Yeah, probably is already in the wrong configurations, but... Yeah, that was the wrong configuration that I built, adjusted. Okay. But this should work. I don't know why it's a bit bitchy currently. Go to document should also work, because like it builds. Right, 9 succeeded means done. Everything works. It was able to use that include, but Visual Studio is a bit cocky for that. Come on, close all tabs. Maybe this helps. No, so I would need to restart it. But I'm not gonna do this. Am I? No, no, probably not. Okay, so let's take a look at FreeType. Haven't used it in a while. Okay, probably here we can go to documentation. The FreeType tutorial, library initialization. Okay, so we needed FT build. Okay, okay, if you want. FT init FreeType, and the error code is the error. So I think these are already pointers. Oh, come on. Oh, complete intelligence broken. Okay, okay, okay. If everything is broken, then let's restart. Why do you have issues with these? Okay. Now? Come on. Come on, please. Please, find them. What is that for a trash? This is working. Right? This is the correct... okay, it's not able to do this. Why are you not allowing me to use it? Oh, damn it. That is trash, 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 trash. I mean, it was able to find it a few seconds ago, and now it's no longer able to find it. I just used it and it worked, and now it's no longer working. How am I able to rerun IntelliSense? Visual Assist. Is there something I can do so that you are able to find this, maybe? Yeah, I know, but I don't want to have Visual Studio lagging. I mean, it's compiling so it can find it, but I mean, normally if you restart it, it's good. And I'm using Visual Assist, so it shouldn't lag. Because Visual Assist can handle this, normally. I know why it is a bit... It is a bit idiotic currently. I do want to have my nice autocomplete. If I would peek, I might even find the header. Yeah. I mean, it can't find it somehow. You can see it's already like, if I peek it, the error is gonna go away. This is something that I already experienced, but I don't know when it fixed itself. In the path, it's completely... If this is open, you can see it, can find it. If I close it, it's no longer able to find it, and that's really ugly. Rescan, I could try that one. I don't know where was it? I have no idea where this was. Or was it on a per project base? Rescan solution is when you right click a project. That's interesting. But yeah, let's try it. Maybe this helps. Yeah, that looks good. Thank you. That was the thing that I was looking for. Yeah, exactly. So that helped. Okay, that's nice. I don't know if is it coming from Visual Studio or is that a Visual Assist thing? Probably it's a native Visual Studio thing, but yeah. I don't know why it's sometimes a bit bitchy. Can we handle FT errors? An error occurred during library initialization. Yeah, but are they... Do we have something to translate errors? I think, yeah, we had something. Error code values. How was I able to use this? FT error string, that is the one that I was looking for. This gets a code. And what are you returning? Const char pointer? Yeah. So I can say check and throw error likely 0, and if this is not, then you can throw that one. And then I would be good. FT shutdown library, free library, init free type, but or was it a function here? Yeah, we're gonna see what it's gonna clean up. Let's see if this works. If it's hopefully not, it's not gonna fail, but I actually do want to have it fail. Oh, it failed. But no. Errors being used without being initialized. Definitely not. But what is error? Is that FT error? This is equal, and after that we are checking that. Why are you thinking that you are using this? I'm using that without initializing it. Come on. Error, okay. Where was the error? Okay, FT error. No, so like it's a C library, so there's no point in doing the C++y. But I probably are somewhere around here. Hopefully. Or not. I'm just gonna set this to 0 then. Then errors equal. So why do you yell about initializing them with the call to ft init? I don't know why sometimes. The hell? What are you doing? I mean, like, ft error equals 0. dword pointer error. Move. Store it there. Load effective address. Call. Move. Result to error. And now you are yelling at me. Or is this just how FreeType rolls? Maybe FreeType does something with that here. But this should be a function, right? Yeah, this is a function. So you shouldn't have a problem with that, or do you? To what is it expanding? It expands to edge result. Ah, yeah. Ah, okay, I know what's going on. Hahaha. Okay, that is definitely something that I should need to change because error is too convenient to use. That one should be something like throw error, something like that, that you're never gonna use. So that we don't have errors there with that thing. And now this shouldn't be. This shouldn't be a thing now. Now we should be fine doing it like that. Oh my god. Am I already too dumb? I don't want to check an age result. Just checking through. Like that. Alright, that's what I want to do. It doesn't fail. I can actually force fail this. How can I force fail this? By having enough error messages. Error def, yeah, error code values, ft error def. Unknown file format. Invalid version, invalid. Let's try out invalid argument, just to throw me some exception there. Just to test it as it's working. What? Where do we have? Where? What is your issue? Okay, this is a null pointer. That is definitely something that we don't want to have, so maybe we want to catch this actually. So empty description on empty string. Now this is not going to work if we are not going to give it brackets around this, so that this one is catched here, so that we don't get issues there. And recompiling is not going to help us here. Fast fail. That's something that I like. Okay, exception occurred. But no text here. Maybe we don't want to have this empty, maybe. We want to have this exception description was null pointer. So that we actually see that something went wrong. Exception description was null pointer, yeah. The operation completed, yeah, the OS code is really not something that I care about. So this works. But why is the ft error string translation not working? Yeah, okay, so we need to compile it with a specific flag. We don't have done. Okay. So That's not gonna help us. So we're gonna do it the classic way. I'm gonna do it the classic way and say failed to init free type. Which, of course, didn't fail, because free type is good. It doesn't fail. Okay. Loading a font from a file. Okay. FT new face, library face. Okay. FT new face, we need a lib. And we need a face, the path, and that one is, I think, the size, if I'm not mistaking that. But I haven't used it in a while, so I could be totally wrong. No, it's the face index. Okay, right. FT face, face is a null pointer. And then we say lib, file name, 0, face is that one. And then we gotta check the face. Failed to open file, font file. I mean, like Unreal Engine is always failing it with them as well. Like, I've done a few checks with Unreal and font faces, and basically every face where the library that I once used is like STB, TrueType thing. Everywhere where that failed, Unreal failed as well. I don't know if they were using it behind the scenes or if they just used a similar algorithm, but yeah. Okay, so where can we find fonts in our system? Probably with 7-zip, because the Microsoft font folder is a bit cocky. So we're gonna abuse 7-zip to find these by going into my C. I think Windows fonts. Yeah, and here we have like all the fonts properly shown, not like Windows shows them. And I do want to have a normal Arial. Can I copy the path? Can I? Oh no, I can't. Eigenschaften. Dude! I mean, yeah, okay. Okay, well, we're gonna do it like that. I mean, this is gonna change in the future. What was the TTF, I think? Yeah, okay. Let's see if that blows up. That one here. It doesn't blow up, so it was able to open that font, and that's everything I need. I mean, we're gonna find the font folder from Windows in the future as well. So we could try to look at the face and see what's going on there. Okay. Arial, regular. Number of char maps, 3. Glyph. Library face next. Glyph index 0. Yeah, it seems valid. I'm not a FreeType expert, but it doesn't look bad. We have a face, right? So we are kind of good. FT close. No, what are you doing? Not Xstring. FT face. Close. I have no idea how can I close a face. Oh, come on, you don't need to recompile stuff. Let's scroll a bit down to cleanup. Cleanup, more advanced rendering, yeah, I don't care. Refine code, I don't care. I care about cleanup. Simple text rendering, glyph transformation, this is not in here. Yeah. RPDocs is gonna help. It's gonna be our friend. FD done. Oh my god, yeah, they called it done. Yeah, that's how FreeType worked. Done. Amazing. That's how I call my lips. FT done face, and also FT done FreeType. Like that. FT done. Okay, so now this would be the proper order of doing things. And this is gonna yell at me and say you are using bad path. As raw string literals? Really? You want to convert that to raw? Let's make... Uh-huh. Nice that you want to do this. I like that better. Okay, but this is an open face. And now we can try and start getting glyphs. We can load it from memory. That's what we're probably never gonna do. Because this is free type should not be something that you redistribute. From other sources, compressed files, yeah. Accessing the face's data. Okay. This is something that we want to do. Is that something that we can actually access? Is that face? Was that face a struct? FD face rect. And yeah, this actually has. Yeah, it has things in here, right. So you were actually able to normally access them. Alright. Yes, that's good. So what do we have in here? What's something that we could take a look at now? We could take a look at the bounding box. Bounding box is something where everything should fit into, if this is one. That I think. Might not be the thing that I think. But actually the FTB box should be the bounding box. Only to scalable outlines, but... And like this is normally the bounding box where we would need to align our font atlas so that every glyph can go in here. If we are not packing them. Outlines bounding box. And this is normally the thing where every glyph should fit into. It's quite a long time ago that I used free type. Let's see how the tutorial goes on. So we start by setting the char size. All elements are set to 0 to populate the structure of sensible values. Should call this one. And after you have done that one, you then can correctly get values for that face. Because the face is initialized to 0, you need to call this. This is an issue that I made when I used FreeMake, I think, the first time. And everything that I got was just garbage and it didn't went well. But this is one that you need to call. If you don't call that one, bad. Okay, height and width, okay. Right then. Okay, so the width is 0 because we don't care about the width. We want to always set the height, and they are in 16 increments, in 64 increments. So if I want to have a size of 16, actually I like 12 more. Let's do 12. We don't need to multiply this in here. Now resolution is the DPI of the monitor, where it's meant to be rendered on, right? 1/4, and the DPI, we can get the DPI from the Windows operating system, but I don't think that we are DPI aware yet. But still, we can use the Win API. So we need to do a bit of DPI stuff here. Are we Win API? Yeah, we are Win API. Get monitor from... Get monitor from... window. But it's obviously something that we can just do after the window has been created. So we need to do is like that. And then we can ask the Win API to convert this to a window handle. Right? Monitor default. No, default primary. If this fails, I want to get the primary one. H monitor Stat 1. H monitor. Monitor. Do I need to release that handle? I don't think so. I think these are global Windows handles that just have their meaning. We don't need to release them. Yeah. And I think it's in the monitor info. Or is that in the info X? No. Okay, DPI is then something different. Was it not in the monitor info? Oh, come on. Or was it the DPI is also inside of DXGI, so we might even call DXGI for that. Or is it inside of DXGI? I have no idea. DPI for monitor. No. Get DPI for window? You can actually get this for window? Okay. No, that's the wrong DPI. That's not the wrong. I need the correct one. DPI monitor. Monitor. Okay, so we're gonna ask Google for that. WinRP DPI monitor MH monitor. Get DPI for monitor. This was the function I was looking for. Okay, but it's a different API. Okay, that's the one. So 2 UINs DPIX. DPIX, DPIY. You don't know that function? Because we haven't... Is this one stored somewhere else, actually? Okay, it's in shell scaling API. Okay, that is a point why I didn't found that. So we're gonna go here, and we wanna shell scaling API in here. But actually, core Windows is that. That's not something DirectX related. Now this one should be a bit more friendly in here for us. The monitor, DPI type. The raw DPI is the one that I actually want to have, because we are doing rendering. And if we are doing rendering, we want to have the raw DPI of a monitor. STD API. Return value, please. Void. Okay. Or is STD API so I return a bool? Big question. H result. Aha. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. This is a rage result. PDK. Check H result and throw. We might get a process not DPI aware. Okay. So failed to get monitor DPI. Because this is the way you go. If you want to have it for the window, you're just going to get one value, but not the individuals. You get a normalized one. So now we can use this DPIX and DPIY in here. Horizontal, X, Y. Yeah, makes sense. Works. Now I want to check this as well. So PDK check and throw. And this should be equal to 0, or we failed setting char size. So let's see. What is wrong with you? What? Yeah. Check HR and throw. There we need the H result one. Okay, so let's see where we're gonna fail. I think we might fail, actually, now. Why are you recompiling so many things? I didn't change that much. Or did I? Why did I change something and skip this? Okay. Yeah, I changed the includes. That makes sense. Shell scaling API is something interesting. It needs a lab. Squar. That needs to be put into our build system. So, how to load Lua? global. Where are we where am I doing my global? Where do I do my global Lua stuff? Or do I can also be that it's in ProEdge Premic. There it is. Platform Windows. So shell core.lib needs to be in here as well. Make me my projects. Now, if I would reload this, it should no longer fail. Yeah. And it actually worked. Well, was not really expecting this to work, but it seems like it did. Let's see. I do want to make a breakpoint before that and after that to see what's going on. Alright, so my DPI is 162 and 161, which is probably fine. Because of the monitor that I'm using, that makes sense. The DPI makes sense. I need to manually measure them again and then do some math around these to be 100% sure. But they make kind of sense. Maybe you want to see them as well. There we go. Now you can see that the face itself, it just have a size in here. But you can see what changes if we are calling that function. Nothing. This is not a good sign. But it seems like it worked. It should do... Where are you storing your char size, actually? Is that a library somewhere? No, because we would have a change here. Okay. Maybe because we don't have available sizes. And it's doing this dynamically, but it should still need to... Like the bounding box... Does the bounding box make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. How are they checking that? Hmm? You can also set them manually. Let's see if we can load a glyph. We first need the index to get a glyph. GIDX is going to be equal to char index for our face, and the char code is going to be a... How was it done? Wasn't you a Unicode char? Oh yeah, it was. So let's do something odd. Some German oddness. Let's see if we are getting something. GIDX. Because I think this is Unicode. I'm not sure about that. GIDX 124. That seems valid. Oh, you haven't seen my code again because I haven't zoomed out, but I've basically added this Unicode char in here, but it should be fine to also add a normal char. I just want to validate how solid this is, but in theory, they are just incrementing in size, but not doing something else. So this should still be the 124 if I rerun this. Okay, no, multi-byte. Ah, this might fail. And surely it did, because this would then be white char, right? But white char should work. Or should it? Should it? Unicode white char? No. Free type? Samey. Does it work? Yeah. So white chars work. Same with Unicode chars. But of course, only like if I would take an A, this would probably work as well, which is probably quite low of the character index. Oh no. How's Arial built? I think it... Yeah, but we are getting valid glyphs, so... Let's try to start off there and load them. Loading a glyph. Now we need a glyph. Okay, so we are loading it. Yeah, okay. This is how it works. You loaded this into the glyph slot and then you rendered it. can you render something if you haven't something in here? Yeah, see. FT load default. Load color, compute metrics. Let's do default one. What is default one? Probably compute metrics combined with something else. Oh, come on. Really, nothing. Default one does not include something. Interesting. Compute metrics. Of course we want to assert that it doesn't work. That it doesn't work. Yeah, of course we want to assert that it doesn't work. That it works. Right, so... failed to load glyph. Alright, so... let's do a quick check if default one works. Yeah. Seems valid. Now the glyph index should be populated. Maybe we want to check this actually. Alright, so... our face. This one in here should now be unpopulated. You see, there's nothing in here. Format none, nothing. And if I now continue on, we should have something in here. Aha! That worked. Now we had changers, and this is validating that free type works. We have an index. We have metrics. This is the size metrics that we need for them. Bearing, advance. The advanced parameters are important. How you would advance if you are going vertically or horizontally. Linear, horizontal advance, they look a bit odd, but they are probably again divided by, if I would take them, calc. Okay, alright, of course this is on the wrong monitor. And it's also the wrong calculator. I don't know why I've just closed this, but yeah. If I would take the calculator here, paste that one in and divide this by 64, it's still a bit big. Yeah. Oh no, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's even invalid. We have that advanced vector, the x and y, yeah, so 960 is the thing that you would advance. This is probably divided. This is probably divided. What did we have as a value? I'm an idiot. 960. Would 15 pixel. Does it make sense, 15 pixel? At that size and that DPI? I have no idea. What did I have as a font size? 12. I think 12 is like the normal default. What you also have here. 15 pixel. Do I have pick? No. But it could make sense. I mean, I need to look this up. I haven't used it quite a while. What is that called? This is an FT glyph slot rect. And advanced is an FT vector, yeah, no. Outline, we have a... do you have a bitmap in here? Bitmap left, top, outline. Yeah, but as you can see, the outline, the left one is 0. And the top one is 50. But does it make sense? Width? The width is 14 and the rows it has is 15. So an advance of 15 would make sense. Yeah, that could be totally fine, yeah? The advance could be totally fine. Buffer null because it hasn't been rendered, yeah? If I would render, the buffer should be filled, I think. Control data, whatever. Okay, but this seems all legit. Okay, so let's now try to render it. Render mode. FT render mode normal. Okay, so let's see. Glyph. FT render mode LCD. Okay, let's just do this normal SDF sign distance field. Oh, can we do sign distance fields? Again, you cannot see what I'm doing. Signed distance field might be something that we want to do, but I don't think, though, because they are proper libraries, they can do this quite well. Failed to render. Leave. Now let's make a few breakpoints in here, and actually, no, this one is sufficient. Let's see if it does what I think it is doing. If I would now go in, boom, zoom me in, and I go to my face, and I go to my glyph, and to go to my bitmap, we have a buffer that is 0. And I'm kind of like expecting, if it renders that this buffer is being populated, and it has rendered to that. And you can see that this buffer is the only thing that has probably changed in here. Now, of course, it's getting rid of the red outline if I scroll, but as you can see, the buffer has been changed, so it has been allocated, and it has, or should have, rendered into that, which we could try to actually visualize. I don't know, do I have image magic still installed, or not image magic? How's that image debugger called? Debugger, Windows. No way, I think it was in general at window. No. Yes, I'm planning to release this on GitHub. I'm still still requiring to do all the license and README setup and all that stuff that you need to do to have this like publicly visible and have it properly visible, and then this is gonna go to GitHub. But I'm a bit short on time currently to do like all these maintaining the repo stuff. But the idea is to have this on GitHub in the future. Yeah, it's already there, but it's just like one click to make it visible. But I'm only gonna do this when all of these README and license stuff are sorted out. If I have come to mind what I want to use and how do I want to use it and all that stuff. And then I'm gonna make this public, the repository. That's the idea that I want to do. I don't have that installed. Oh no, 1 second. There is a window. There is a graphic debugger. And I thought that I have it installed, but it doesn't look like I have installed that. Let's see, how was that thing called? Image Watch. Image Watch VS 2022. And that's the one that I'm looking for. This is from Microsoft and has no documentation. This is the very software from Microsoft that's out there. And I'm not lying to you if I tell this to you. I love always how they take ages. Oh, but that's quite fast, I think, for Microsoft installers. It's already fast, very fast. Configuring for Visual Studio Community 2022. Yeah, all right. No, I thought it's fast because it was fast at the first step, which always took ages, but now it's again slow as a turtle. Oh, come on. Really, I mean, we could take a look at the documentation here so they can show you what I hate about it. Image Watch documentation. Oh, they have a new... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have a new documentation. Alright, maybe they are... maybe I'm really wrong. If that one is... Okay, no. Okay, but reference? Maybe there, maybe there, maybe there. Maybe they have rewritten that and they now also show us how we can do raw things. Or is that just the old one copy-paste? Okay. Maybe. Address type channels with heights right. Okay. Maybe they have... This looks a bit better than what they had previously. Okay, so we're done here. Okay. So let's see. I mean, this is very similar to what they had previously. We're gonna see. If we can read from this. Address, type would be. I don't know if they are doing packing. If FreeType does packing. Yeah, it can also do open. It can also do OpenCV, but it can also do the raw images, and that's why I'm using this. But it's still like in view, other windows, image watch. I can't resize it from the top. That's odd. And now I should be able to go to watch. Now I can put in that, which is of course first invalid because I need to adjust this. So the address is gonna be my face. Glue. And then bitmap buffer, I think. Let's see. Face. Glue. Bitmap buffer. Yeah, that should be the address. Now type is probably gonna be uint8. Uint8. Channels are 1. And then we have the width. And the rows. So I'm just gonna hardcode this. 14, 15. 14, 15. And the stride is gonna be probably be 14. And it's not gonna give us something. Now the big question is where the issue is. Face. Glyph, pointer, bitmap, pointer, buffer. Now the first thing to identify the source of the issue is what I always like to do if I made this syntactically wrong. Okay. Aha, there we go. There is our A. We have correctly rendered our A. So if we're taking the raw address, we are there. Now here you can see the A. So we correctly rendered an A. Now do I just use the dots instead of the pointer symbol? Seems not like it. Or how can I interpret this? Yeah, that's amazing. Face clear bitmap.buffer. Why are you not willing to get this? Do I need to dereference that? Mark this as a pointer? Okay, no, that's not really working. Now, what the hell? It suddenly works just by writing stuff around it. That's basically how bad this thing is. So let's maybe do this completely correct. So one channel. Now this is the 14. The 14 was my width. And the other one is a pitch. We also have it in here. So width. These are rows and pitch. Like width, rows, pitch. Same thing, no results, okay. Okay, I forgot the bitmap. Okay, alright. That is my fault. Like, this window is, like, super hard to work in. Come on. Display it. Try it. This is bitmap with... That is always a pain. I would love to have this as a general expression so that I don't need to adjust this. But I think hard coding is the way to go then, right? I love how it's every time giving me a different result. I'm gonna give up on you. The only thing that's really reliable working is the address. You can see this is actually a nice rendered glyph. Now, normally we might want to actually render this as something that I want to try out quickly. I'm going to copy this expression, even though it shouldn't be an issue. If I stop debugging, this window actually disappears. I'm going to add a comment in here so that I have this at least ready. Let's quickly switch this to FT render mode SDF. If we put this to an SDF rendered mode, it should be inverted, this glyph. Which might be is good for some things and bad for some things. Okay, but the address... No, it's not, still doesn't stay the same. I was a bit confused. It's like a bit bad to always copy these addresses around. But... no way around that. Okay, so SDF rendering does not... Okay, maybe the size has changed. The size has changed, okay. So... 31 rows with 30... 31, 30. Now this is assigned distance field. Oh, it's not inverted. Okay, this is an assigned distance field. The idea of that is that you can resize that one. This looks blurry, but this is actually better, or can be better. Oh my god, you don't see it. Here we go. This now is a distance field, looks a bit blurry, but it's actually the better way to render it, because this allows you to interpolate in this image, to make it bigger and smaller and however you desire it. We're not going to use this for debug UI though. For debug UI we're going to use the normal mode. That one, mode normal. I'm quite interested what LCD does. Let's see what LCD does. I just changed it to LCD up there. There's this FT render mode LCD. Let's see how this is gonna look. This is why I actually wanted to set this dynamically, so that we don't always get garbage at the old addresses. Oh, that is really interesting. Okay, so first width 50 stride. Yeah, again, that's the address. Yeah. Okay, that's an interesting thing here. That's LCD. Is that... what is that for an LCD mode? Interesting what it's trying to do. Is that for these old monitors that had double the width? I don't care. I'm just gonna use the default mode, but it was quite interesting. What mods do we also have? We have LCD, LCD V, normal, SDF. We also have mono. That's probably right what it's doing. Max and light. Let's check what light does, and let's check what mono does and what max does. Maybe we'll find something that's interesting. So now I'm checking the mode light. It's the address, so this is probably just some variation of the default mode. That's my suspicion. So 14, 15, 14. Yeah, it's, I think, what is the difference between a normal one? Is it a bit lighter? No idea. Wait, what is the default mode, like the light mode? I mean, we could try to find on the internet what this means officially. Let's see. Default render to 8-bit anti-alias bitmaps. Light. This is equivalent to mode normal. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. 1-bit bitmaps. That's also what I expected for mono. 3 times wider than the original glyph. Yeah, okay. So this is a special one, but these are rotated displays that are taller. Okay. Signed distance field. Yeah. Okay. And max. Okay, max is probably just the maximum number of modes that are allowed to render. Okay, we're gonna take a look at mono now as well to take a look at that mode. SDF signed distance fields. SDFs are good because they're a bit better in scaling. We might switch to SDFs in the future. Probably gonna start with normal or even mono. For debug UI, you might actually want to have non-anti-alias things, but that's something we can always switch. We might want to do mono there, but I don't know, because like debug UI, it should be a bit crisper and a bit more cleaner. I'm gonna show you mono. This is the normal one, the normal mode. Let's now check mono. So normal was anti-alias, now we try mono. Hey, it has a bit different sizes. Ah, damn. It has packed the bits. Ah, okay, we're pretty sure that now we can visualize that. Because now basically it has packed the bits, right? It's like... It's like 15 rows. But the pitch is 2. And the pitch 2 means that like these 14 things have these 14... actually these are now 13. They have been packed. Do we have packed formats? I don't think so that we have. I don't think so. I don't think so, because they are not there for packing. They don't have formats for packing. Okay, yeah, that is. I would love to show this to you. Basically, it's using 1 bit for a pixel. But what we could try is I could try to quickly convert them just to show them. Shouldn't be a big of a deal. So let's start by getting us a buffer. Just gonna use malloc here. Alright, so face glyph bitmap. Maybe we're gonna do something quickly. Outer pointer BMP equals pointer to that, so that we can use BMP and we can now say something like width times. Actually, we can use this. Do we need the stride? We can. Let's just use the stride. No, we don't use the stride, because the stride has been too small there. So we're gonna use the width times BMP rows. 0.82. Now we're just gonna convert this. Just gonna write a plain dumb for nested for loop. The addressing, how they are gonna probably do this. So there I'm gonna do so y equals 0, y is smaller than BMP rows, y plus plus. All size tx x smaller than BMP with x plus plus. Alright then, now we need to convert this. First of all, buffer, we're gonna simply address that one. We're gonna say BMP width times y plus x. That's simple. But getting the actual bytes is a bit harder. So we need to check if first of all we need to access it. We access it by the y value times the stride. What? Where's my stride? Pitch. Okay, it's pitch. Call pitch there. Okay, by the pitch plus the x divided by 8. Should be our address of the byte. Now we need the bit address. Now we need to check if this is equal to 1 bit shifted by x modulo 8. And this is gonna be question marked. If this is some value, we're gonna set this to 255 or 0. Yeah, have fun, or if it is fun, have fun. If not, hopefully it's finished fast. Yeah, good learning, and have a nice day. Bye. No, we need of course to check this one here. And then hopefully the screeny lines. Buffer overrun. Aha. I don't see that. But let's see. If I haven't done this completely wrong, this should maybe work. So we have 13. Okay, no. 1 13. That didn't work. Where is my issue? Y times the pitch. The pitch is 2, so we have 2 bytes. And this one is then the address. X is gonna go from 0 to the width. So this is gonna be 0 or 1. Which is correct. So should be the right address. Then we are... Okay. Yeah. We of course want to not do a logical AND. We want to do a bitwise AND. This might be the issue. Hopefully. See. Gonna see in a second. Let's see. I really hate the text box here. Kinda already looks like the A, but there is something wrong with it. What is wrong with my A? It's flipped and shifted. What is the format? What is the format of that A? Well, you can kind of like see the A, right? Or do I have something wrong here with my rows? 15. What's the thing? Address type channels with. Okay, yeah, I'm just here shifted maybe. With 13, 15. Oh no. What? With is 13. No, it was correct. Height 15. That's right. So that was correct, but it is shifted. But I can kind of see the A. Okay, maybe D. Are they doing are they reversing that one? Maybe. Maybe that works. I mean, it's not really a point in wrangling this format actually, because monochrome is a bit bitchy in general. But this is not how my A should look like, and I am now kind of like intrigued to find out why. But that's also not my A. Now it's definitely flipped. However, I'm not really wanting to solve this now. Because we're not going to use it, probably. Not going to use the mode here. Now, I'm not going to use it. Definitely not going to use it. Okay, render, mode, normal. Okay, not default, it's called normal. Okay. So let's see the final correct image one time again. Actually, could I dock this somewhere? But we already have a small debugging view, so maybe not. The face, glyph. $14, $15, no, 14, 15, 14. There we have it. The correct anti-alias one. And this is basically our alpha channel that we multiply with our color on the GPU. That's how font rendering works. Take that stencil, multiply it with your font color, done. If you want to have another alpha in here, you basically have font color times stencil times alpha value, and you have your font rendering done. Now this just needs to be hammered into DirectX, which is the hard part. But at least we have free type done. Yay! So what we basically want to do is we want to now write some kind of glyph manager that can render that can render stuff like that. How can we create a font atlas? I don't know. Font atlas, rect pack. STB rect pack. I want to have the proper one. That one. Yeah, we could use that one. This would pack ourselves rects in actually quite a few lines, in quite not many lines. Why is that the undercover CSGO fork? Who cares about undercover CSGO fork? I care about STBI. Let's just go for STB. That one. STB rect pack. That's the one that I'm looking for. The right one. That can pack rects, but STB and then some more things in here, I know. Basically what we need to do is we need to get the glyph information for each glyph that we need. Store them. Run them through recpack. Recpack will output us a... will output us where to put these glyphs. Then we need to allocate a buffer. Then we need to render all these glyphs, pack them there where STB recpack told us that, output that image, output metadata, and we are done. I'm not quite sure. I'm probably going to do XML. I like XML, but I don't know. We might also just do a binary format since we are writing an engine, and an engine doesn't like XMLs on runtime. So probably we're just going to output a binary format where the rects have been packed. Now, STB. STB, we can clone this. Download zip. Zip. Link address kopieren. We don't have branches in here, so... need to download these manually. I mean, do we have a hell of a lot of stuff in here? What we're probably not going to use? STB include? What is that? What does STB include? Oh, okay. Parse and process include directives. Nice, okay. Deprecated. STB. No, there's a new one. I was a bit concerned that SCB image is deprecated. I mean, not that I plan to use it, but SCB image is slow as hell. But, yeah. Easy font, this is something that we might also wanted to use, but I don't think that we're gonna use it because we're gonna do full free type. I don't want to. I mean, this is in theory outputting your buffer usable on the GPU. But the font does, as it's telling you here, crappy low crim, extremely inefficient performance-wise, ASCII only bitmap font for use in 3D APIs. But I mean, I'm not quite sure if it's really looking crappy. If you like that style, because basically what it's doing, I think it's rendering quads in vertices. Yeah. This might something that we could include as well. But just because I like the aesthetics, maybe. But yeah. We're currently just gonna care about STB rect pack. So let's... But the thing is, I don't want to deploy them like that. Actually, I do want to deploy them as a vendor project that I compile. Which is giving us a complete new thing for our engine. Vendor. Or do I want to have this as PDK vendor? I think vendor should be fine. vendor, STB. Build.lua. And of course I don't want to steal something here. I do want to steal from probably the app core. Vendor STB vendor STB. We just need that file. To download this quickly, so source, vendor, STB rec pack, there we go. Now we have it in here. Now I need an implementation of that, so STB rect pack.cpp, hashtag include STB rec pack, but before we do that, implementation, so that we have all the implementations in one file, and a static library that we can use them. Alright, so make me projects, please. Alright then. Reload the solution. Should give us the vendor folder. And inside of here we should have STB. And here's the implementation. I mean, now we have vendor in here, which is not 100% clean, but STB is like not coming with a build system and everything, so yeah. Okay, I could combine it, so good. Now we could be using it. Now we just need to implement this. We need to implement like a glyph manager. And this is like the, I'm now a bit thinking normally the glyph manager is something that you would want to have, would not want to have this inside of the debug UI package that we're gonna do here. So we would need to do packages. We would need to do one package like a UI package, which is gonna get these glyph things. Then we would have a debug UI that's especially doing like just the debugging UI stuff. But I think this is something where we can easily stop for today and move on the next time. I think that's a good idea because yeah, we are already quite some time in and we've done library stuff today, management, doing dependencies. And I'm not quite sure 100% how I want to do this from the layout, so I might need a few minutes to think on that, or maybe even a day, so that I then know how I want to structure this from now on. Because we are now getting into the meat, especially when we are getting into rendering with DirectX. And we need to have full like shader hot reloading and all that stuff, or I want to have full shader hot reloading and stuff like that, so I need to do a bit of thoughts on the architecture. Probably in the next video we're gonna write, not video, it's like a stream, but maybe I do the glyph manager with free tab, maybe I do some pre, I don't think that I'm gonna have time for that, because like, I don't have time, but maybe I do some work before that, but probably next time we're gonna write all this glyph management and render out a, we're gonna probably render, next video, my goal for next stream is to render out the font atlas with all the metadata. On debug, we might actually wanna dynamically load them at runtime, and on release, we might wanna get them. But we're gonna see this. That's like the idea for next video. I need to do for next stream. I need to be sure how I want to do it. So yeah, thank you for watching the stream, attending the stream, and writing all the chat messages. And thank you for being there, giving me tips today. They were really useful. Or really helped a lot. Not that they were unuseful last videos, but last ones, but basically just normal attendance. But yeah, second stream where I got really helpful tips. So thank you for watching. See you next stream and have a nice day. Tomorrow is gonna come a video. Tomorrow you get a video, more C++ stuff. But if you're watching this, you probably already know C++. But yeah, still C actually. But thank you for being here. So nice evening or wherever you are in the world.